We all enjoy watching a time lapse of a seedling unnaturally shooting up into a full tree in a matter of seconds. It is a satisfying image, but it feeds a persistent myth that success, and specifically language fluency, can happen overnight. Language acquisition operates on a timeline of months and years. Progress is not found in a single burst of effort, but in the steady recurrence of daily practice. This brings us to a specific approach: the slow mastery daily routine. You do not need to sit in a formal classroom or purchase expensive software to use it. You only need your mind and a fraction of your daily schedule. The timeline is grounded in repetition. After 30 days of following the system, the sounds of the language become distinct and recognizable. After a full year, these accumulated sessions provide the foundational exposure required for functional communication. True linguistic fluency is built step by step. It is the product of deliberate, slow consistency rather than frantic, short-term effort. In a typical modern schedule, you wake up, you work, and you handle daily obligations. Finding an extra hour for self-improvement often feels mathematically impossible. This chart shows a standard 24-hour daily cycle, and it isolates exactly a 20-minute window. That tiny fraction of your day is the only time commitment this system requires. Dedicating such a brief window might make you feel like you are progressing too slowly, or that your effort is inadequate compared to intensive multi-hour study sessions. But 20 minutes of practice, repeated every single day, adds up to over 120 hours across a calendar year. This accrues enough exposure to bridge the gap between a beginner and a confident speaker, because slow is still progress. The total volume of hours you spend studying on any given day matters far less than your ability to show up consistently, day after day. Furthermore, effective learning does not require sitting silently and staring blankly at a textbook. Instead, you can integrate listening practice into the automated physical tasks you already do. You can absorb English while walking, or while driving, or while doing household chores. When listening to these tracks, a common hurdle is the urge to pause the audio and translate every single unknown word. You must resist that urge. Your brain absorbs complex language patterns through continuous repetition. By listening again and again, your neural pathways naturally begin to recognize the structure. Do not worry if you miss a few words. Perfect understanding is the eventual reward of this repetition, rather than a strict requirement to begin. Eventually, you will need to shift from passive listening to active speaking. For many beginners, this triggers a very real fear of sounding foolish, or the anxiety that native speakers will laugh. To make progress, you have to accept that speaking slowly and making mistakes are unavoidable steps in the learning process. This graph tracks a typical language learner's progression. Notice how the curve starts at 0 and must pass directly through this highlighted mistake zone before it climbs to the expert peak. Every fluent speaker you hear today started by using small, simple words and making those exact same errors. The lack of natural talent is not what stops a beginner from becoming fluent. The fear of making a mistake is the only true barrier standing in your way. Now, let us organize these principles of time blocking, listening, and speaking into a strict executable daily schedule. Step 1. Wake up and immediately listen to a 20-minute English audio track. Step 2. Take a designated break during the day to speak a few sentences aloud. Step 3. At night, listen to the exact same track again to reinforce the repetition principle. This specific morning, break, and night loop is the complete slow mastery system. It does not change. By executing these 3 actions, you take the massive, overwhelming goal of learning a new language and scale it down into a highly achievable daily reality. As you repeat this cycle, there will inevitably be days when you feel tired, bored, and desperate to quit. It is crucial to view those negative feelings as standard environmental obstacles. They are perfectly normal, and they do not dictate your actual capability or your potential. On those difficult days, remember your overarching dream. Your willpower is much stronger than your temporary fatigue. Just as a slow-moving stream of water will steadily cut a deep groove into solid rock, your relentless action will carve out a new skill. Your only required task right now is to commit to the very first step. Set your alarm and prepare to start your first morning listening session tomorrow. Simply by putting this habit into motion, your trajectory is already changing. Just maintain the routine, trust the process, and keep moving forward.